Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Possibilities. And the reason why you may be considering different kinds of possibilities in the next week is because on Sunday we are having a very dynamic, powerful full moon at 17 degrees of Capricorn, I'm sorry. And Capricorn is the traditional ruler of the 10th house of your career or your public reputation in the community. And Capricorn also rules bureaucracy and administrations, so it rules large government organizations or corporations that have been around a long time. And it can be that they have grown quite large, but that they started as small, say, businesses, and then as they grew, they were handed down to the next generation. The reason why there can be an element of time involved is because that's what Capricorn rules. It rules the cold, and it rules the mountains, and it rules things that take a long time to achieve, because Capricorn's ruler is Saturn, and Saturn's transit is 28 to 30 years. It takes that long for it to get around your chart even once. So we say that Capricorn rules rewards over time, and that means that it rules pension plans or retirement plans that can reward you in your old age for a lifetime of hard work. But remember, it just in general rules your career. This full moon, though, is really powerful. And the reason why is because the full moon in Capricorn is conjuncting Pluto, that planet of underlying deep truth, but also of power. And it would represent people in management at a high level in government organizations or corporations, and these people would have the authority to make policy decisions, and that could affect people as well. So the possibilities can be both harmonious and problematic or challenging. Looking on the bright side, there can be a lot of possibilities for happiness regarding children or everyday activities or pals and buddies and partnerships and love affairs and sports and the entertainment world. And the reason for that is that Venus has now moved into Gemini. Venus is a love planet, and it does indicate cooperation and diplomacy and compromise, and it is trining the sign it rules, Libra, where Jupiter is. So Venus and Jupiter are trining each other, and that can indicate a lot of happiness for a lot of people. But on top of that, Venus is sextiling Mercury, which is now moved into Leo. And Mercury is sextiling Jupiter, which is in Libra. So these three planets are helping each other out right now, and that's why there can be a lot of possibilities for happiness or for anything that is ruled by the signs of Gemini, Leo, and Libra. But on the troublesome side, there are 6 planets in a really powerful, harsh grand cross in cardinal signs. And the 4 cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And so there are problems that can occur because these planets are so forcefully challenging each other. And that is because the moon is conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, but we know under a full moon that the moon opposes the sun, and so the moon and Pluto in Capricorn are opposing the sun and Mars, which are both conjuncting each other in Cancer. And so that can arouse people's emotions quite a bit. And so these things are going head to head. And on top of that, Jupiter in Libra is squaring the planets in Cancer and Capricorn, and so is Uranus in Aries. So those 6 planets are really not seeing eye to eye at all. And that is why there is the possibility now that a woman, a powerful woman, could get her boat rocked harshly right now because of these aspects. Remember, the moon does rule women, and if it's not a woman, it's still somebody in power that could really get challenged right now, and that's why I say their boat can get rocked, and I don't think that they would ever be able to recover from that. And so that's quite a challenging possibility right now. And on top of that, there are people that would want to go ahead and revolt or be involved in some sort of rebellion. And if there is a rebellious attitude toward a new beginning, that could motivate people to form some sort of unusual alliance. Remember, Uranus is the planet of unusual things and sudden surprising change. And if there was an unusual alliance coming out of a rebellion against a new start, that could certainly cause a lot of upset in people's plans as well. And we know under a full moon that different things are happening. For instance, with the Sun and Mars in Cancer, people can be, because Cancer rules our emotions, and it rules women and the home, and it rules endings as well. There can be a lot of volatility in our emotions, so there could be emotional outbursts that could really surprise people with their vehemence. And there can also be some sort of threat, financial threat, to the old status quo. And by that I mean the old status quo as depicted by perhaps large corporations or government agencies, things that had been around for a while, because the Sun and the Mars conjuncting each other are so strong and powerful. And the reason there can be financial threats is because Mars is opposing Pluto. And these two planets are the rulers of Scorpio, which does rule all kinds of money or funding coming in from any other source. But they are really going head to head right now, and they're backed up by the Sun and the full moon as well. And they are also being squared by Jupiter in Libra and by Uranus in Aries. So there can be a very threatening aspect going on, and that can present some pretty risky possibilities right now. And on top of that, there is certainly the possibility of a betrayal, or maybe even two betrayals. And the reason why is that Venus is in Gemini now, and Gemini rules two of everything, but it is opposing Saturn in Sagittarius. And when Venus is opposing or squaring Saturn, that is an indication of a betrayal. And the betrayal could be against people who are the betrayal can be for a good reason. And the reason, because Venus is in Gemini, Venus is a good planet. So if there is some sort of betrayal, it can be for a good reason, and that reason could involve a desire for more peace, or a better partnership, or wanting to uphold the law, or wanting to follow some sort of legal requirement right now. And Venus does rule all of those things. And that desire could be coming up against a firmly entrenched group of people who want to maintain the status quo the same old way it's always been. But now I think there can be a betrayal against those people and what they stand for, because people really do want peace and better partnerships and a little more diplomacy and the ability to get along with others. I mean, that can make everyone happy. So there we are, able to face a lot of different possibilities under this very potent full moon in Capricorn. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for sure, I think you're going to be affected in a surprising or somewhat unpleasant way by the full moon and Pluto in Capricorn, which are squaring your sun on Sunday, and by Mars and the Sun, which are in Cancer, which are also squaring your sun. And remember, Mars is your own ruler, and it is in harsh aspect to your sun sign where you have Uranus. When Mars and Uranus are in harsh aspect, then anything could happen, but it would be sort of anything bad could happen. And certainly, since Uranus rules computers, there could certainly be a cyber attack. or there could be some sudden change in aviation or in space or in an electrical grid or in anything that travels through the air in one way or another. So that's why you could be unpleasantly surprised by some sort of glitch or something that is completely out of your control that could be a setback for you. There's also the possibility of trouble in a family matter or in a real estate matter. And there's the possibility of some sort of separation or divorce or change in a partnership, since Jupiter, which is very well aspected right now, is opposing Uranus in your sun sign. So I would say that the possibilities for an unpleasant surprise are pretty high right now. And my advice to you, Aries, is try to stay calm and for once, don't move too fast, because you could quickly move and it could be in the wrong direction rather than the right direction. Remember, your ruler is squaring your sun, and that is why it would not pay you to be too impetuous or impulsive right now, but it would be a little bit better for you to stand back and try to calmly collect yourself before you make a decision about something in the next week. So stay cool, Aries. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, for once there isn't any planet in your sun sign because your ruler Venus has moved on into Gemini now. It is right ahead of your sun sign, and it's trining Jupiter in Libra. And the full moon on Sunday, along with Pluto in Capricorn, are both going to be trining your sun, Taurus. And so I think there is the possibility that if you have been looking for a better job, or you want a promotion where you are, or you've been going after some sort of award or reward, this is the time when you might get it. There's also the possibility, since Uranus is really being challenged in Aries, and that's right behind your sun sign, that there could be some sudden surprising upset in the background of your life, but I think it would tend to open a door for you, and it would allow you to make some sort of easy transition or change, and that's good. So I think you benefit by this full moon. Certainly your long-term interests would benefit, but I think you benefit even if there is an unpleasant possibility happening in someone else's life. I think it can be good for you, Taurus. So if you've been after something better, this is the time when you just might get it. So congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, lucky you. Venus is in your sign. It is the planet of love and partnership and peace and the law. And so I think you've got all that on your side, Gemini. And even though you have been encountering stiff resistance this year, Neptune in Pisces is squaring your sun, and Saturn in Sagittarius has been opposing your sun sign for 2.5 years, and it won't leave until Christmas time. But things are going to be better now, Gemini, and things, your pathway forward will be a little bit smoother, in fact, maybe a lot smoother. And that is because Venus in your sign is trining Jupiter in Libra. So I think your love life is going to perk up, Gemini, and also friendships will be much easier to acquire, new friendships, and there can be even more partners that are sort of on your side. And that's important because Venus in your sign is opposing Saturn in Sagittarius, and that is an indication of betrayal. But that is an indication of people who want to switch sides now because they really do want peace, or they do want a better partnership or a better future. So I don't think that you are going to be betrayed. I think that instead you may be a person that is going in the right direction, and there are a lot more people that want to join you now, Gemini, and I think that can make you happy. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, since yours is a cardinal sign and the Sun and Mars are closely conjuncting each other in your sign, it's you that might have your emotions sort of aroused and boil over in one way or another, because you may feel you have just had it, Cancer, and the Sun and Mars in your sign are being forcefully opposed by the full moon in Capricorn and Pluto on Sunday. So you do have a little bit of reinforcement in the fact that Neptune in Pisces is trining your sun. So I don't think that you're going to be happy with a work situation or some sort of threat to your career or some sort of policy change or budget cut that could threaten your career in one way or another. I don't see you being happy about that. And there is the possibility that you may be a little bit unhappy about some new start that someone wants to take, or about the state of a partnership or of a contract right now. Okay, so those things may not go your way, and there's a possibility of that, Cancer. But Mars and the Sun in your sign trining Neptune and Pisces simply means that no matter what happens, you still will be able to go forward and make a dream come true. And you could do that behind the scenes and be quite happy with that. And so just consider your possibilities for happiness and fulfillment. It may be much more on your own, but it could still make you very happy, Cancer. So I hope that you are considering the fact that, you know, the sun always rises, you know, there's always another new day. And I think that you might be happier with a new path to travel now. And that's simply because the old status quo is not going to hold up too well anymore. All right, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when you have a planet in your sign. It is Mercury, which has moved into your sign, and it's being trined by Uranus in Aries and by Saturn in Sagittarius. But those two planets are under severe duress right now and can't be much help to you. However, your sign rules children and sports and entertainment, and I would say summer fun. And so you could be doing a lot of communicating with friends and making plans for this summer, which is just great. So that is good. But actually, the Sun and Mars in Cancer are right behind your Sun sign, and so there can be trouble in the home. There could be some jealousy around behind the scenes that you may be a victim of, or that you could suffer from. And also there is the possibility of some sort of financial threat behind the scenes. It might come from things that are beyond your control, such as higher costs coming up, or budgets that are cut, or people who want to just suddenly bolt and go in a new direction, or a contract that isn't working out to your satisfaction. So, I mean, there are possibilities that can be a little bit financially threatening right now, but there are also possibilities for you to have a lot of fun, and you can at least have some very creative ideas right now, Leo, and you can follow up on those throughout the rest of the summer, and that may lead to a wonderful new beginning under the solar eclipse in your sign in August. So that's a possibility in the future. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think that you have to be very, very careful, and that is because there are planets in the other three mutable signs, and they are all squaring or opposing your sign. Neptune in Pisces is opposing your sign, and that simply means you don't know who to trust, and that's good. You should be keeping your guard up, because somebody has been only telling you half of the truth. So they could swear they're telling you the truth. It's just they're not telling you all the truth, and that can lead to deception and misrepresentation, and you have a good reason to doubt people like that. And then Venus in Gemini is squaring your Sun, so there may not be total happiness in your love life, or there can be a change in friendships right now, or in your neighborhood, people could be moving on. And Saturn in Sagittarius is also squaring your Sun sign, which means that people who have wanted to hold you back for a long time are still hoping for that, but their efforts are going to wane, and that is because there could be a betrayal. Not a betrayal of you, Virgo, but a betrayal around you. And so I think that could be maybe in your career, or it could be around people who are in some sort of authority position. And if there is a betrayal and a change in that, that could certainly benefit you, because the full moon and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your Sun. So if there is a change in management or in policies in large corporations or government agencies, that change will benefit you, Virgo. It's just that at a little different level, and a more personal level, I don't think you can trust everybody right now, and that's why I'd keep my guard up if I were you. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, It's certainly wonderful for you that the ruler of your sign, Venus, is now in Gemini, and it is trining Jupiter in your sign. I think your love life could perk up, Libra. I also think there's a wonderful opportunity, maybe two of them coming up, for some sort of partnership or short trip that you could be taking, or you could be moving and going to somewhere that is nearby, or back to an old neighborhood that you had lived in before, or something that is sort of easy to do. So a change or an easy transition and much better communication with nice people is going to occur for you, Libra, which is just great. Those possibilities could really make you happy. But there can also be some troubling possibilities because yours is a cardinal sign. And that means that the full moon and Pluto in Capricorn are squaring your sun where you have Jupiter, and the sun and Mars in Cancer are also squaring your sun, and Uranus in Aries is opposing your sun sign where you, once again, you have Jupiter. And so I think that you need to be very, very careful. And the reason why is that situations beyond your control can be somewhat volcanic right now. I mean, they can just erupt, and they have nothing to do with you, but they can sort of change the landscape, or they can threaten your career, or they could cause trouble in the home or with family members. And it isn't that you're causing it, Libra. It's just that I think that if you are around anybody who has a sort of a volcanic temper right now, it could erupt and you could suffer for that. So you really need to stay either by yourself peacefully or with easy pals and acquaintances that don't ask too much from you and just sort of want to hang out with you. Well, that would be just fine, Libra. But I wouldn't take anything real seriously at the moment, except overtures of friendship and love. They would be sincere. But if you're around people that are real unhappy, you need to get out of there right now, Libra, because you cannot solve their problems, and that's because you didn't cause them. And that's why you need to remove yourself from anything that looks threatening or dangerous right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when I advise you to keep a very low profile. And that is because, yes, there is one planet squaring your sun. It's Mercury in Leo. So there can be news about children, sports, a love affair, or some sort of entertainment figure. And that news could be somewhat challenging, or maybe not the kind of news you really wanted to hear. And so that can be a little bit, there's a possibility for a little unhappiness there. But otherwise, the planets that are threatening each other are not threatening you. However, they could if you stepped into a volatile situation, so don't. Instead, step back right now. And that is because the full moon and Pluto in Capricorn, and Pluto is your ruler, are sextiling your sun, and Mars and the sun in Cancer, and Mars is your other ruler, are trining your sun sign. And Neptune in Pisces is also trining your sun sign. If you wanted to work around the home, maybe in remodeling your home, or moving to a new home, or you're wanting to make some sort of dream come true and it could benefit the family as well, that is all possible. But if you want to step out into the public eye, I wouldn't do that right now, Scorpio, because you might get burned. And the reason why is that the public reputation of everyone can be somewhat threatened right now because the full moon and Pluto in Capricorn, and remember, Capricorn rules our public reputation and our careers, is being so sorely threatened by the 6 planets in the Grand Cross. So I would say your rulers are benefiting you, but that doesn't mean that they would keep benefiting you, since they are opposing each other. If you stepped up to the plate right now, or showed off, or made a lot of comments, I wouldn't do that. Stay out of the limelight, Scorpio. You'll be safest that way. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, I think you're definitely going to be involved in some sort of betrayal, but it can be for the right reasons, believe it or not, and that is because Venus in Gemini is opposing Saturn in your sun sign, and a Venus-Saturn opposition is an indication of betrayal. but it simply means that people, since Venus is a very good planet, it simply means that people want change. It doesn't have to be radical change, but they really want change. And they want better partnership, or they want to follow along with the law, or comply with some legal requirement, or have better partnerships right now. And so they may want to sort of threaten or leave the old status quo, which is represented by Saturn in your sign, and go in a different direction, not a radical one. Gemini doesn't rule radical change. It rules easy, transitional change, something that anybody could do. And so don't feel bad if people want to sort of move on or try something new right now, Sagittarius. And it could be a little hint, Sagittarius, that maybe you should try something new as well. And even if you don't want to jump in completely to something new, I wish you would at least consider it, because life goes on. And we can't go back or stay in a rut our whole lives. We do have to move on, and people need to grow up as well. And so I think that that should be something you would consider right now, hopefully, Sagittarius. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, the full moon on Sunday is absolutely loaded in your sign. And you couldn't escape it if you tried, Capricorn. And that is because the Sun and Mars in Cancer are opposing that full moon, and Pluto in your sign. Jupiter in Libra are squaring the planets in your sign, and Uranus in Aries is doing the same thing. Okay, so there are very harsh aspects among 6 planets in cardinal signs, and that can indicate the possibility of a troublesome situation, or of some sort of change, or even a financial threat to the old status quo. And so that could present quite a few challenges to you, Capricorn. And another thing is that there are no other planets in Earth signs. There's nothing fortifying your sign. So that simply means that this is not the time for you to be taking on too many new things, Capricorn. And in fact, there could be a family problem or a real estate problem with money. Or there could be some money that you had been counting on, and there may be some huge delay in that. Or there can be somebody who wants a little more of your money right now, and if I were you, I would just be real quiet and not give it to them, Capricorn, because I think what you need to do is you need to hang on to everything that is yours. You yourself are not in a risky position, but there's a lot of risk around you right now, and you should not partake about any of that. Just try to have tunnel vision right now and keep going forward, just doing your duty little by little, and keep your hands in your pocket and don't part with any money right now, because there could be a whole lot of people that want to get their hands on what you've got, Capricorn, and that is why you need to guard it instead and just keep a very low profile. Okay, what does it mean to a Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, it's wonderful for you that Venus in Gemini is trining your sun. That could improve your love life and good times. And Jupiter in Libra, of course, is trining your sun as well. So you can be very popular, and that is certainly a possibility for increased happiness and friendship, which is great right now. That also includes picking up new partners. You may be deciding that your love life should improve. Well, I think it will, Aquarius. And also you may be looking to sign some sort of a contract. Maybe the terms could go your way, or there could be people that could help you out with that, and you could get good legal advice right now as well. However, Mercury in Leo is opposing your sun sign, and that means if you have been trying to sort of step up in one way in your career or in any other way in the community, I think the spotlight is on somebody else right now, or the news will be about somebody else, and I'm not sure that you can go ahead with all of your high-minded goals right now, but you can be a lot more popular right now, and you sure can be enjoying a better social life, Aquarius, so I hope you stick to that. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, Venus in Gemini is squaring your sun, and so is Saturn in Sagittarius. And so that is an indication that you can be involved in some sort of betrayal that can be happening around you. I'm not so certain that it's happening to you, Pisces, but it can certainly be happening around you, and it can be actually happening for the right reasons. In other words, somebody could be moving on because they just want a better partnership, or they want to take a trip on their own, so they could be leaving. Or it can simply be that people are moving right now. The Sun and Mars in Cancer are trining your Sun, and that can indicate that even if emotions sort of boil over regarding a family matter or a real estate matter, you could still come out okay on something like that. But I don't think that you are going to be happy in all aspects of your life right now, Pisces, because that Venus-Saturn opposition is pretty strong and indicates a betrayal, maybe even 2 betrayals, as people want to leave the old status quo and transition to something newer or better, or a different partner, or wanting to have a more peaceful situation in their lives. So you can't blame people for that, Pisces, because I think that's something we all want. So I think that right now, that full moon in Capricorn, along with Pluto, does sextile your Sun. And that means that if there is some change in management or a change in policies in government organizations or large corporations, you may benefit from that, Pisces, which would be very nice. But I would not tempt fate right now. Instead, try to be as calm as possible, and don't get in the middle of other people's arguments. In fact, try to stay away from people who want to argue right now, Pisces, because you don't have an argumentative nature. You sort of like it when things are calm and peaceful, and that's what you should try to strive for this week. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.